Hello, ladies and gentlemen, friends in life. We are often taught that resilience is innate, a gift we either possess or lack. But resilience is not a fixed trait, it is a skill, honed through deliberate practice, reflection, and adaptation. The world moves fast, and in 2025, simply bouncing back from failure is no longer enough. True progress comes from embracing mistakes, not as defeats, but as essential data points. Every misstep contains insight, every stumble carries a lesson, and every setback holds the potential to propel you forward if you choose to engage with it intentionally. This is where the practice of daily self-correction transforms ordinary living into extraordinary growth. It goes beyond passive reflection. Daily self-correction is a structured habit reviewing small mistakes, identifying their root causes, and making micro adjustments that compound over time. A single error may seem insignificant, but small, consistent corrections create monumental leaps in skill, character, and achievement. Success is not a sudden arrival. It is the accumulation of tiny, deliberate steps guided by honest self-assessment. Failing forward requires a proactive mindset. Life will inevitably throw curveballs, unexpected challenges, setbacks, and disruptions. Those who fail forward do not dread these moments. They anticipate them, embrace them, and turn them into actionable insights. Each perceived failure becomes a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. By conducting internal audits, asking hard questions, and holding yourself accountable, you become your own most effective coach. You create a mental map where obstacles are no longer roadblocks, but directions guiding you toward improvement. The neuroscience behind this practice is remarkable. Daily self-correction rewires the brain for adaptability and growth. It breaks down psychological barriers that block honest self-assessment, fostering a learner's mindset where every failure becomes a valuable lesson rather than a source of shame. Over time, your brain begins to expect, analyze, and integrate setbacks, creating resilience that is proactive, dynamic, and deeply internalized. Implementing this practice begins simply. Start by reviewing your day. What went well? Where did you falter? What tiny adjustment can you make tomorrow? Minor. Consistent changes are easier to adopt than grand overhauls, yet their effects compound exponentially over weeks and months. These micro corrections accumulate into unstoppable momentum. Your mistakes no longer weigh you down, they lift you higher. Ultimately, failing forward is about creating continuous evolution. It is the conscious choice to see mistakes as data, setbacks as lessons, and failures as fuel. By integrating daily self-correction into your life, you transform ordinary days into powerful growth experiences. You become adaptable, resilient, and relentlessly forward-moving. Every misstep becomes an opportunity, every failure a teacher, and every day a chance to rise stronger, wiser, and more capable than the day before. Your life is a series of experiments. When you learn to fail forward, you unlock the extraordinary potential hidden within each misstep, and the momentum you create carries you toward a future of purpose, mastery, and unstoppable growth. The power of daily self-correction growth is not a single leap. It is a series of small, deliberate steps taken consistently over time. And one of the most transformative habits you can adopt is daily self-correction. This practice is far more than casual reflection or fleeting regret. It is a structured, conscious process of examining your actions, identifying missteps, understanding their causes, and making tiny adjustments that compound into monumental evolution. Each day becomes an opportunity to tune your behavior, sharpen your judgment, and align more closely with your highest potential. The beauty of daily self-correction lies in its precision. Not every mistake is obvious, and not every failure is dramatic. Often, the micro failures, the small errors, overlooked opportunities, or subtle lapses in discipline are what hold us back the most. By taking the time each day to audit your actions, you uncover patterns that otherwise go unnoticed. Maybe you missed a chance to speak up, reacted impulsively, or delayed a decision out of fear. These are small, almost invisible moments, yet when left unexamined, they accumulate into stagnation. Daily self-correction turns these moments into lessons. It is a tool to bring clarity to your growth and transform minor oversights into stepping stones for success. Another crucial aspect of this practice is intention. Daily self-correction is not about punishment or self-criticism. It is about empowerment. It requires honest assessment without judgment, a commitment to learn rather than lament. When you face your mistakes with courage and curiosity, you shift from being a passive observer of your failures to an active architect of your development. You stop repeating the same errors unconsciously and begin designing your actions with greater precision and purpose. Over time, this intentional habit rewires your approach to challenges. Your brain begins to recognize setbacks not as threats, but as data, as feedback, as a guide toward better decisions tomorrow. The compounding effect of small adjustments is extraordinary. Tiny daily improvements, just 1 degree of correction, 1 thoughtful response, 1 learned lesson, may seem insignificant in isolation. Yet, over weeks, months, and years, they accumulate exponentially. A habit of daily self-correction transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. It is the difference between drifting through life and steering it intentionally. Each micro adjustment moves you forward, refines your skill set, and elevates your mindset. Importantly, daily self-correction cultivates resilience and adaptability. When setbacks arise, you no longer react with panic or despair. You analyze, learn, and implement a better strategy. This proactive engagement turns failure into opportunity, unpredictability into a classroom, and challenge into a stepping stone. Your mistakes no longer define you, they refine you. Your failures no longer stop you, they propel you forward. Ultimately, the power of daily self-correction lies in its simplicity and consistency. It is a practice available to anyone willing to commit, regardless of circumstance or starting point. Each day is a chance to audit your choices, learn from missteps, and take a small, deliberate step forward. Over time, these daily micro-corrections create unstoppable momentum, transforming setbacks into success, mistakes into mastery, and ordinary days into a lifetime of progress. By embracing this habit, you move beyond merely surviving mistakes. You actively fail forward, evolve continuously, and create a life defined by resilience, growth, and unrelenting forward motion. Transform setbacks into stepping stones. Setbacks are an inevitable part of life. They arrive unannounced, sometimes gently, sometimes like a storm that shakes the very foundation of your plans. The instinctive reaction is often frustration, self-blame, or fear. But what if we could see setbacks not as failures, but as guides, roadmaps that point us toward growth, insight, and higher achievement? This is the essence of failing forward, transforming every setback into a stepping stone. Each misstep, each challenge, each failure is rich with information, and when approached with intention, it can propel you farther than any smooth path ever could. To transform setbacks into stepping stones, the first step is perception. How you interpret challenges determines their impact. Do you see them as obstacles that halt progress, or as opportunities that illuminate new directions? Shifting your perspective from victimhood to agency allows you to reclaim control. When life throws a curveball, instead of resisting, pause and ask, what is this teaching me? How can I use this insight to improve tomorrow? This question transforms emotional reactions into strategic learning and ensures that setbacks contribute to your evolution rather than derail it. The next step is analysis. Each setback contains layers of meaning if we are willing to examine it honestly. What decisions, behaviors, or assumptions led to this outcome? What could be done differently? This is not about dwelling on mistakes, but about gathering actionable intelligence. By dissecting the situation, we uncover patterns, blind spots, and opportunities for refinement. Over time, This practice trains your mind to approach failure methodically, turning every challenge into a blueprint for improvement. Then comes action. Stepping stones are only valuable if we move upon them. Insights from setbacks must translate into deliberate adjustments and behaviors. This might mean refining skills, altering strategies, or changing habits. Each corrective step, no matter how small, turns a past mistake into a launchpad for future success. The cumulative effect of these actions transforms your trajectory. What once seemed like a misfortune becomes a necessary detour toward mastery. Failing forward also cultivates internal coaching. When setbacks arise, you become your own mentor, asking questions, analyzing outcomes, and implementing improvements without waiting for external validation. You develop an internal feedback loop where mistakes are not sources of shame, but opportunities for self-directed growth. This mindset fosters autonomy, self-confidence, and resilience, allowing you to navigate uncertainty with courage and clarity. Finally, transforming setbacks into stepping stones is about habitual perspective shifts. It is a daily practice of turning every obstacle into insight, every misstep into a lesson, and every failure into momentum. Over time, this habit rewires your response to life's challenges, creating a mindset where setbacks no longer paralyze you. They propel you forward. The more consistently you fail forward, the more unstoppable your progress becomes. Ultimately, every setback is an invitation. Each challenge carries hidden lessons. Each mistake offers guidance, and each failure contains the seeds of your next success. By embracing setbacks as stepping stones, you transform life's unpredictability from a source of fear into a source of power. You move forward with intention, purpose, and unstoppable momentum, creating a life where challenges are not obstacles. They are opportunities to rise higher, evolve faster, and achieve more than you ever imagined. The neuroscience of failing forward, the way we perceive failure, is not just psychological. It is biological. Our brains are wired to avoid mistakes, to seek comfort, and to resist the discomfort that comes with setbacks. This is why failure often feels painful, why self-doubt emerges, and why many avoid taking risks. But the fascinating truth is that our brains are also incredibly adaptable. Through deliberate practice, reflection, and self-correction, we can rewire our neural pathways to see failure not as a threat, but as a vital source of learning and growth. This is the science behind failing forward. When we engage in daily self-correction, we create a pattern of active learning. Each mistake becomes data, each setback becomes a lesson, and the brain begins to anticipate and process challenges as opportunities for growth. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself, allows us to strengthen connections related to problem solving, adaptability, and resilience. Over time, these pathways make it easier to face uncertainty, recover from setbacks, and respond creatively rather than reactively. In essence, failing forward trains the brain to be courageous, strategic, and adaptive. Another key element is the reduction of fear and shame associated with mistakes. When we approach failure as a structured learning process, the emotional threat diminishes. The amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear responses, becomes less reactive. Instead of panic or avoidance, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for reasoning and decision-making, takes the lead. This shift allows us to analyze setbacks with clarity, extract actionable insights, and implement corrections with confidence. Our emotional responses are no longer hijacking our progress. Our rational mind is guiding our growth. Failing forward also strengthens the brain's reward system. Each time we take a lesson from a setback and apply it successfully, dopamine is released, reinforcing the habit of learning from mistakes. This creates a positive feedback loop where the brain begins to anticipate growth from challenges rather than fear them. Over time, the habit of self-correction becomes instinctive, and setbacks no longer paralyze or discourage us. They energize us. Furthermore, This neuroscience explains why consistency matters. Small daily corrections create micro changes in neural pathways that compound over time. Each day of reflecting, learning, and adjusting builds stronger mental habits, enhances problem-solving ability, and fosters a resilient mindset. By integrating these small actions into a daily routine, we create not just short-term progress, but long-term adaptability and unstoppable momentum. Ultimately, understanding the neuroscience of failing forward reveals a powerful truth. Mistakes are not just inevitable, they are essential. Each misstep reshapes our brains, strengthens our capacity to adapt, and equips us with the mental tools to thrive. By intentionally analyzing, learning from, and correcting our errors daily, we transform failure from a source of fear into a source of power. And we cultivate a mindset that turns setbacks into springboards for success. In this way, failing forward is not just a practice. It is a biological advantage, a learned skill that rewires our minds for growth, resilience, and unstoppable evolution. Practical steps for continuous momentum. Momentum is the engine of growth. It transforms effort into results, challenges into achievements, and small actions into life-changing progress. Yet, maintaining momentum is not about occasional bursts of motivation. It is about consistent, deliberate, and intentional habits. One of the most powerful tools for creating this forward motion is the practice of daily self-correction. By implementing small, structured adjustments every day, you build a rhythm that propels you forward, turning mistakes into stepping stones and setbacks into catalysts for success. The first step toward continuous momentum is awareness. At the end of each day, pause and reflect what went well. Where did I falter? What small actions could have been improved? This process is not about judgment or criticism. It is about clarity and insight. By identifying micro failures, overlooked opportunities, and subtle missteps, you gain a precise understanding of where your energy is most effective and where adjustments are necessary. Awareness is the foundation of momentum because you cannot correct what you cannot see. Next comes action. Awareness alone does not create growth. Each insight must translate into deliberate steps. Tiny adjustments, incremental improvements, and course corrections. Perhaps it is a habit you need to refine, a mindset shift to adopt, or a skill to practice. These micro actions may seem small in isolation, but their cumulative effect is extraordinary. Each day of intentional correction compounds into a trajectory of unstoppable forward motion. Over weeks and months, these small steps produce outcomes far beyond what grand, sporadic efforts could achieve. A third essential principle is consistency. Momentum is built through repetition, not randomness. Daily self-correction practiced consistently rewires the brain for adaptability, resilience, and growth. It creates a rhythm where setbacks no longer halt progress. They become signals for adjustment. Consistency turns learning into habit, mistakes into insight, and effort into exponential improvement. By committing to small daily adjustments, you establish a cadence of forward motion that carries you through challenges, uncertainty, and adversity. Another important step is embracing imperfection. Continuous momentum does not require flawless execution. Progress is not perfection. In fact, expecting perfection often stalls action. Momentum thrives when we act despite errors, learn from each misstep, and refine our approach. By giving yourself permission to make mistakes while maintaining focus on improvement, you create an environment where growth is inevitable and resilience is cultivated naturally. Finally, celebrate incremental wins. Every adjustment, every lesson learned, every small correction is a victory. Recognizing progress, even tiny, reinforces the habit of self-correction and motivates continued action. Momentum is not merely a physical measure of speed. It is psychological, emotional, and mental. Celebrating micro successes keeps your focus sharp, your confidence high, and your drive unshakable. Incorporating these practical steps Awareness, action, consistency, embracing imperfection, and celebrating progress creates a self-sustaining cycle of growth. Daily self-correction becomes not a task, but a lifestyle. Each day compounds into strength, clarity, and adaptability. Momentum becomes unstoppable, mistakes become fuel, and your journey transforms into a continuous evolution. By committing to this disciplined, intentional practice, you ensure that failure is never final, setbacks are never permanent, and forward progress becomes your natural state. The key to success lies not in avoiding mistakes, but in mastering the daily habits that allow you to fail forward, learn fast, and evolve continuously. Embrace continuous evolution. Life is not static, and neither are we. Every day presents opportunities to grow, adapt, and evolve. Continuous evolution is the conscious choice to treat every experience, challenge, and setback as a stepping stone toward a higher version of yourself. It is the mindset that no matter where you are today, you have the capacity to improve, to refine, and to move forward with greater skill, wisdom, and purpose. This is the essence of failing forward, a commitment to progress, learning, and relentless self-improvement. Embracing continuous evolution begins with perspective. You must see life as a series of experiments where outcomes are data points, not verdicts on your worth. Mistakes are not evidence of failure. They are opportunities to learn, recalibrate, and grow stronger. Each misstep teaches you something vital about yourself, your habits, your responses, your blind spots, and your potential. By approaching life with curiosity instead of judgment, you transform challenges into a curriculum for growth and setbacks into guidance for your next step. Next comes integration. Evolution is not just about identifying lessons, it is about applying them. Daily self-correction, reflection, and mindful adjustments are the tools of transformation. Each small improvement compounds over time, creating momentum that carries you through uncertainty, disruption, and adversity. By consistently integrating insights from mistakes and setbacks, you transform incremental actions into exponential growth. Your life becomes a reflection of your daily choices, your resilience, and your commitment to forward progress. Continuous evolution also requires flexibility and adaptability. Life will inevitably present changes that you cannot predict or control. Those who cling rigidly to expectations, plans, or old ways of thinking often falter when confronted with disruption. By contrast, those who embrace evolution remain agile. They pivot, adjust, and adapt without losing sight of their purpose. Flexibility allows you to navigate challenges with grace, turn obstacles into opportunities, and maintain forward momentum even when the path is unclear. Another essential aspect is self-compassion. Evolution is a journey, not a destination. You will stumble, falter, and make mistakes along the way. Embrace these moments as part of the process rather than evidence of inadequacy. Self-compassion fosters resilience, reduces fear of failure, and empowers you to take risks that accelerate growth. It is the foundation that allows continuous evolution to be sustainable and joyful rather than stressful or paralyzing. Finally, embracing continuous evolution is about commitment and vision. It is the choice to engage fully with your life, to see every challenge as an opportunity, and to use daily self-correction as a vehicle for transformation. Each day is a chance to refine your actions, learn from experience, and step closer to your highest potential. By committing to this practice, you cultivate unstoppable momentum, a resilient mindset, and a life defined not by fear of failure, but by the courage to evolve continuously. Ultimately, continuous evolution turns ordinary existence into extraordinary growth. Every mistake, setback, and challenge becomes a tool for progress. Every day becomes a chance to improve, adapt, and rise stronger. By embracing this mindset, you ensure that your journey is never static, your potential is never capped, and your life becomes a living testament to the power of failing forward, learning fast, and evolving endlessly. Resilience is a learned skill, Many people believe resilience is something you are born with, a rare gift that some possess and others do not. But the truth is far more empowering. Resilience is not a fixed trait. It is a skill that can be cultivated, practiced, and mastered over time. It is forged through experience, reflection, and the deliberate choice to face life's challenges head-on. In today's fast-paced, unpredictable world, bouncing back from setbacks is no longer sufficient. Resilience in 2025 requires not just survival, but the active, conscious transformation of obstacles into opportunities for growth. Resilience begins with perspective. Life will inevitably test you through career challenges, personal loss, unexpected change, or the simple friction of daily life. Those who see these challenges as insurmountable often feel overwhelmed, stuck, or defeated. But those who approach them as opportunities for learning develop a mindset that is both strong and flexible. Resilience is about choosing to see adversity as information rather than punishment, as a guide rather than a roadblock. It is the courage to face difficulty with curiosity, not fear, with intentionality, not despair. Developing resilience also requires deliberate practice. It is not something that grows passively. It is cultivated through habits of reflection, self-assessment, and adaptive action. Each day presents small challenges, micro failures, setbacks, and disappointments that are opportunities to strengthen your mental and emotional muscles. By reflecting on these experiences, asking what went wrong, and determining how to adjust, you train yourself to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This daily commitment transforms ordinary setbacks into stepping stones, gradually building an inner fortress of endurance, patience, and courage. Another essential element of learned resilience is emotional mastery. Resilient individuals do not ignore their emotions. They acknowledge them, process them, and use them as tools for growth. Frustration, disappointment, and fear are not signs of weakness. They are signals that guide reflection and recalibration. By learning to navigate emotions intentionally, rather than being overwhelmed by them, you cultivate the strength to act decisively, maintain clarity under pressure, and move forward even when circumstances are challenging. Emotional intelligence and resilience are inseparable companions on the path of personal evolution. Resilience is also social and relational. Those who actively build supportive networks of family, friends, mentors, and colleagues develop a feedback loop of encouragement, guidance, and perspective. These relationships provide insight, grounding, and shared strength that amplify personal resilience. However, even in the absence of external support, the practice of self-reflection, self-correction, and intentional action equips you to stand strong. Resilience, ultimately, is as much an internal skill as it is a response to the world around you. Finally, resilience is about mindset. It is the conscious decision to view setbacks as temporary, challenges as surmountable, and failure as a teacher. It is a daily choice to engage with life proactively, learn from mistakes, and adapt continuously. Over time, resilience becomes habitual, ingrained in the way you think, act, and respond to life's inevitable trials. It allows you not only to survive adversity, but to thrive in its midst, to transform disruption into momentum, obstacles into opportunity, and mistakes into the foundation for extraordinary growth. By understanding that resilience is a learned skill, you reclaim agency over your journey. You stop waiting for circumstances to be favorable or for innate talent to carry you. Instead, you build strength daily, one reflection, one adjustment, and one courageous step at a time. The resilient person is not one who never fails. They are the one who transforms every failure into a lesson, every challenge into a teacher, and every setback into a platform for soaring higher than before. Every mistake, every setback, every moment of imperfection carries within it the seeds of growth. Failing forward is not about avoiding failure. It is about embracing it, learning from it, and using it to propel yourself higher. Daily self-correction transforms ordinary experiences into extraordinary lessons, small missteps into stepping stones, and challenges into catalysts for momentum. Remember, resilience is learned, growth is deliberate, and progress is built one small adjustment at a time. By reflecting honestly, taking action courageously, and integrating lessons consistently, you create unstoppable forward motion. Life will always present obstacles, but when you fail forward with intention, setbacks become springboards, mistakes become teachers, and every day becomes a chance to evolve, thrive, and move closer to your highest potential. Rise stronger, adapt faster, and embrace the journey, because your next step, corrected and refined, carries you toward a future defined not by fear of failure, but by the courage to fail forward, learn relentlessly, and live boldly.